Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the No DQ live recap of Monday Night Raw for March 9th, 2020. The road to WrestleMania is kicked into high gear. We're coming off the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. There are a lot of things to discuss. We had AJ Styles cut a promo on The Undertaker, challenge him for WrestleMania. We had Edge make his big return. We had Drew McIntyre kill a spider. Lots to discuss, like I mentioned. Let's go ahead and get started. If you're watching this live, please share a link to this video. Even if you're watching on demand, please share a link to this video. Tell a friend. Please spread the word. Whatever you can do to help would be very much appreciated. Now, let's go ahead with the first segment. We had the introduction and the pyro for Raw. We had the hype for Edge. We had the camera crew backstage waiting for Edge's arrival. Becky Lynch came out for a promo. She talked about how the joking is over. She instructed the production team to show a recap of the Elimination Chamber match where Shayna Baszler destroyed everybody, beat all 5 competitors. First person to ever do that in the Elimination Chamber. And then footage was also shown of Baszler's post-match promo where she said that she's going to beat Becky Lynch and there's not a damn thing that Becky can do about it, bitch. And that was exactly what Shayna said. She called Becky Lynch a bitch. Becky said, yeah, it's true. Shayna took down Asuka in one night, something that it took Becky a very long time to accomplish. However, that doesn't change the fact, according to Becky, that Shayna is a world-class scumbag. She is a black hole of charisma. Ouch. And while Becky may be a bitch, she is the bitch that runs the women's division. And she is going to smash Shayna's face in at WrestleMania. Really good promo here from Becky. Strong start to Raw. And I like that Shayna was not on the show. There was really no need for her to be on the show, nor was there a reason for her and Becky to really interact on this show. I think the promo was fine with Shayna post-match from the Chamber, and then Becky's response to that. Solid stuff here. We'll probably get a contract signing in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Would not shock me. And yes, I know there's one next week, but I'm thinking we're getting at least 2, maybe 3, because it's WrestleMania season. And Mike B with a $5 super chat, first one of the evening. Thank you for that, Mike B. He says, that spider has a family, damn it. That poor SOB. That spider, apparently spiders can spawn thousands of other spiders. That spider has a very extended family. That would be an interesting storyline now. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe I'm getting too out there. But what if Eric Rowan has an army of spiders to try and combat Drew McIntyre? That would be interesting. Like next week he just shows up and he has multiple spiders with him and they just keep increasing. I know, it's ridiculous. Vince Russo idea. Virtue's going to hate me for that one. Moving on here, we had the first match of the evening. Rey Mysterio, Booyaka, Booyaka, 619. Every time Rey comes out and I hear that music, I think back to William Shatner. That had to be one of the best guest host segments of all time when William Shatner did all the wrestler theme songs. That was great. That was one of the few great guest host moments, in my opinion. My man, Hank Schrader on the shitter. And now that he's on Better Call Saul, maybe he's on the shitter more often. We can think about that. We could think about that time that Hank Schrader was on the shitter and all the times he's on the shitter during Better Call Saul. But enough of that. $5 super chat from HSOTS. He says, I have not watched Raw in a while. 90% of it I fast forward through. I liked Edge and Orton. You know I watched BSC, Better Call Saul, instead. Love your rift. Well, to be totally honest, if this was not my job, I would probably watch Better Call Saul live and watch Monday Night Raw later. But that's just me. Even when it's WrestleMania season, Better Call Saul was on when? 9, I think? 9 Eastern? Maybe it's 10. I'm not even sure when it's up against Raw. But this Raw was definitely a noteworthy show, though. I will say that. We had Rey Mysterio versus Angel Garza. Garza kissed a fan on the cheek during his entrance, and she actually wanted a little bit of lip to lip, but he did not do that. Maybe fear of catching coronavirus, who knows. We had this match, and Garza got a little too cocky for his own good. He tried to go for a 619. Anytime a heel goes for the babyface's finisher, never ends well for the heel. Mysterio countered, and he hit the 619, hit the big splash, and picked up the victory over a very game Angel Garza. David Estevez with a $2 super chat. Thank you very much for that, David. He says, been watching you for 12 years. Thanks for the video. I appreciate that, David, and I thank you for being a longtime supporter of the channel. Much appreciated, my good friend. Moving on here to Kevin Owens arriving to the arena earlier in the show. Actually, this was before the show. He was confronted by Seth Rollins and the Disciples. I guess that's the name of their faction until WWE actually comes up with something. Seth Rollins and the Disciples. Sounds like a 1970s hard rock band. Kevin Owens was confronted. Rollins had popcorn because he knew something was going to be happening to poor Kevin Owens. Owens was offered some popcorn, but he's like, nah, I'm good. And then he knew he was in trouble. He took his luggage. He threw the luggage at AOP, but was not enough to stop the numbers game. The Disciples beat the crap out of him and took him out. We had a repeat of the Rhea Ripley video package that was shown on NXT. And then we had Charlotte Flair come out for her promo. She said that Rhea Ripley will never be her, and she told Rhea to enjoy the hype because it's not going to last. Charlotte said that Rhea is going to be humbled in front of 90,000 people. Interesting number there at WrestleMania. So I'm guessing because that was likely a scripted number and Charlotte was scripted to say that number, looks like WWE's going to have 90,000 people at WrestleMania. We all know it's probably for real going to be like 75,000, but sounds like that's going to be the made-up number, 90,373 people jam-packing WrestleMania. But Charlotte finished her promo, well, attempted to finish the promo. Rhea Ripley herself came out, and Charlotte said that this is not NXT, this is Raw, and it's her kingdom. Rhea responded to this by punching Charlotte, knocking her on her ass, and then taking off. Good segment here. I liked it. Good build up for WrestleMania. Edward Young with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Edward. He says, just supporting the cause. I've been rocking with you for years. Thanks for keeping the hood entertained. I try my best to keep everybody entertained, and thank you very much for that, Edward. I do appreciate the kind words from you. We had Bobby Lashley, who was still getting a push, I guess. Not completely forgotten about just yet. Maybe this year's Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner, the Dre, as I like to call it. We had Lashley, Bob the Lash versus Zack Ryder. No entrance for Ryder. You know what that means. Crowd did not care about this match. They had little to no interest. They were chanting for Lana. They wanted to see Lana. Zack put up a little bit of a fight, but glorified squash match. Dominator from Lashley, and he picked up the victory. Right now, I would say Lashley could be a strong contender to win the Dre this year. It would be nice if we were going to get like a blow-off to Lashley versus Rusev, but WrestleMania already has like 16 matches rumored, and we really don't need more matches on top of that. Oofman Rules with a $5 super chat says, the stadium holds 65,000 people. Where is Charlotte getting those extra 30,000 people? Thank you for the super chat, Oofman. I appreciate it. And Charlotte getting those extra 30,000 people. Well, to use a line from Hawk, magic. Pure mother effing magic, if I may quote ICP. It's a miracle. Mike Nixon with a $5 super chat says, where was Mrs. Lashley? Lana is apparently filming a movie with Bruce Willis, and that's why she's not on Raw. Her new contract that she signed allows her to do other appearances, which is good for her, although I feel like if WWE drops whatever storyline she's in, it's going to be hard for her to get a new one. That's the downside to taking time off. Out of sight, out of mind, and those spots in WWE are few and far between. But I guess doing a movie with Bruce Willis is worth it. Legend. All-time legend. Although, how many big box office hits has Bruce Willis done lately? That's the question. All right, so this one was fun. Okay, we had Drew McIntyre versus Eric Rowan. And we had Rowan come out with his cage, of course, covered with the sheet, even though we all know what it is. However, the announcers, I don't think, knew what it was. I think Tom Phillips, or whoever the announcer is now, wasn't sure what was under the sheet. We all know it's that gigantic spider. So we had this match, and this was also a glorified squash match, but we all know that Rowan is pretty much done as far as getting a push goes. During the match, Drew McIntyre took time out of the match because Rowan is such a non-threat. He went to the cage, he put the cage down on the ground, he grabbed the steel steps, and he murdered that poor spider. That spider had a family, damn it. He squashed the spider in the most dramatic execution of an animal on WWE television since Earthquake sat on Damien way back in the day. It traumatized Jake Roberts to the point where he locked the Ultimate Warrior in a room full of snakes and then crashed the wedding of the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. So maybe Eric Rowan will go on a similar path of destruction now that his precious pet spider has bit the dust. Mike Nixon with a $5 super chat. Oh, I already answered that. Where was Mrs. Lashley? Sorry about that. And Drew finished off the match with the Future Shock DDT and the Claymore to pick up the victory. So yeah, looks like we're seeing the end of Eric Rowan and his push. Unless, of course, they go with my crazy ass idea and he comes back with more spiders next week. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat, thank you for that, says, how does this match get Drew McIntyre over for WrestleMania? He killed a spider. If he can kill a spider, just imagine what he could do to Brock Lesnar. And that wasn't just any spider. That was a giant, big-ass, maybe South America spider where the bugs grow to grotesque proportions. Those spiders are no joke. So yeah, killing a spider, Drew McIntyre is well on his way. Let's see Brock Lesnar kill a spider like that. We had a recap of the Edge and Randy Orton storyline. We had a backstage segment with Alistair Black. He was in his room getting ready to cut a promo about wanting somebody to pick a fight with him. But before he could cut that tedious promo, we had Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. Oops, I said Buddy again. Rollins and Murphy. They knocked on his door. However, Rollins had an offer for Black. He knows that Black has been dealing with a numbers game problem. So Rollins said, why not join the Disciples? Black, however, quickly turned it down. Rollins warned him that you're either with Rollins or you're against him. Black said, that sounds like fighting words, and accepted a fight for later. We had Asuka and Kairi Sane come out and cut a promo, and I love this. I love their routine with the Japanese promos because it feels like they're so much more confident when they're doing the promos in Japanese. Like when Asuka was trying to do the English promos as a babyface, it just felt like she didn't feel comfortable doing it. But with these promos, like you could tell, like who cares what they're saying? They're so animated and they're putting so much into the promo and with their body language and their movements. It's really fun to watch. And the crowd was doing the what chants, and Asuka was totally playing off on it. Kairi eventually asked how Asuka was feeling. Asuka said she's okay. She just wants to beat up somebody. And Mr. Anderson says the promos are annoying. That's the whole point. They're purposely going out there and being annoying. I love it. I think these are great heel promos from the Kabuki Warriors. And we had Natalya come out. She had her arm wrapped up from Elimination Chamber, and she did take quite the beating at that show. So it would not surprise me if she really had her arm taped up because she got banged up. Whether it was or not, good idea to sell the injuries from the pay-per-view. It was Natalya and Liv Morgan against the Kabukis. I believe it was the Kabukis' first match on Raw, or first match as a team, period, since TLC. First tag team match for them in 2020, which is pretty crazy when you think about the idea that the titles should be defended every 30 days, but that only applies to certain people, I guess. Tony H with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Tony. He says, are the women's tag team titles the most useless titles in WWE? Yeah, I would say that's very accurate. And thank you, Tony. We had Ruby Riott come out during this match, and then Sarah Logan came out, and then all of a sudden, the two of them started fighting. Liv Morgan was more focused on her former Riot Squad members than her own tag team partner. What a shitty tag team partner. Liv did a crossbody block from the top rope onto Ruby and Sarah, and then Natalya was all by herself, had no partner to tag out. And Asuka managed to get the tag when Natalya wasn't looking. And Natalya put the sharpshooter on Kairi, but Asuka was the legal woman. She hit the kick to Natalya and scored the pinfall victory. I'm guessing maybe next week, 2 weeks from now, Natalya will need to find a better tag team partner. And we shall see who that turns out to be. We had AJ Styles and the OC come out for a promo. AJ was very angry about The Undertaker sticking his nose in AJ's business not once, but twice. And real quick here, Walter Cruz with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Walter. He says, why doesn't WWE do the same with Nakamura in the Japanese heel promos? He actually was for a while, and that whole me no speak English, that was good shit. I will say that was some good shit when Nakamura was doing that. So yeah, WWE did do it for a while, but I guess decided to go with Sami Zayn as the mouthpiece. But where's that going to go now that Sami's the IC champion? AJ talked about the Elimination Chamber and how Undertaker screwed him over again and took his trophy from him by appearing at Super Showdown. Then AJ brought up some of the Undertaker's history, how Undertaker left the ring after losing to Roman Reigns and left his gear in the ring and gave the fans the fist, the send-off, all that stuff. And AJ said Undertaker not only should have walked off into the sunset that night, but really he should have done it earlier when he lost to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30. AJ then challenged Undertaker to a match at WrestleMania, and this is when it got real, folks. He said 10-15 years ago, he would have been hesitant about challenging The Undertaker, but now all he sees is a broken down old man named Mark Calloway. He mentioned The Undertaker's real name, which maybe it happened during the Attitude Era, but this might have been the first time that Undertaker's real name was ever mentioned. Again, it might have happened during the Attitude Era. Vince Russo was known for that stuff, but definitely the name was not mentioned anytime in recent history. Tony H with the $2 super chat says, should the stipulation be a retirement match? Well, maybe next week when they do their contract signing, they'll announce a stipulation, but I don't think it really needs one. Then again, maybe we do need something. What do you guys think? I got a bunch of questions here about The Undertaker, which I will get to in just a second. AJ said Undertaker should have retired when he was in his prime. And then, to continue making it personal, AJ brought up Undertaker's wife, Michelle McCool, and said that maybe she's the reason he is still wrestling because she's the one that calls the shots and she gets whatever she wants. AJ warned Undertaker that your wife is going to run you into the ground, and at WrestleMania, he is going to help her. AJ said he's going to make sure that Undertaker dies in the ring at WrestleMania. He is going to take The Undertaker's soul at WrestleMania. And then he said the people, they don't give a damn about The Undertaker. And at WrestleMania, he's going to put the final nail in The Undertaker's coffin. Great promo here by AJ. One of the best promos of his career. Props to him for that. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, is Undertaker coming back as the American Badass? Every year I get this question. I don't think so. I think it would be cool, though. I would not mind seeing it, but I will not get my hopes on it. I mean, we've talked about this for years, and it never happens. Although, now that Mark Calloway has been name-dropped, maybe there's an opportunity there for the American Badass to make a comeback and a more realistic Undertaker. Mo Cameron with a $7 super chat. Thank you for that, Mo. He says, to the idiot who says I'm a negative person, he's talking to himself. I'm directly quoting him. He says, to the idiot who says I'm a negative person, I'll stop being negative when WWE becomes a better product and stops putting trash as top guys. Thank you for that, Mo Camera. And let's see here. We got a $5 super chat from Ken, terminated by Google. Thank you, Ken. He says, is it ironic that AJ Styles brought up Michelle McCool? McCool did use the Styles Clash as her finisher. Remember? Pepperidge Farm remembers. That is true. AJ did not mention that, but that would be a nice tie-in. Maybe AJ is sticking it to Michelle because of her using his finisher back in the day. So yeah, I thought that this was a really good segment. Although next week, contract signing, whatever. I'm not even sure how they could top the one from, was it 2014? Correct me if I'm wrong here, but you guys tell me. I thought it was for the Brock Lesnar match where Undertaker stabbed Lesnar with the pen. That was a great contract signing segment. That was maybe the best one that WWE ever did. I'm not sure how they can top that one with Undertaker. But let me know. Jeremy says, yes, it was Brock Lesnar. Michael Wayne says it was 2015. Kev Dog says it was 2014. Okay, Michael Wayne says it was 2014. That's what I thought. I thought it was for the WrestleMania 30 build-up. That was really good. And the Holiday, Christopher Mace, says, should Randy Orton versus Edge be where they use the Hell in a Cell match? I don't think you need to do it for the first match. I just don't think that it's necessary. However, maybe as a rematch, you could consider doing Hell in a Cell. I just think the first match doesn't need any stipulation. Same thing with AJ and Undertaker. I don't really think you need it. The novelty of the matches, I think, carry their own weight, so to speak. Next up, we had Riddick Moss, the 24/7 champion, versus Cedric Alexander, who had no entrance. You know what that means. Moss won, of course, with the neck breaker. What's the point of the 24/7 title when you're not even doing the fun segments with it? You're just having it defended in normal matches now. What's the point? And it's not 24/7. You're just doing it on Raw in a regular match, and then there's no follow-up. No run-ins. No cool shit. Nothing. It's dead. Pointless. Already with a $2 super chat. It's been a while already. I remember you from back in the day. He says, Has been a while since I watched you live. Well, thank you for coming back already. I do appreciate it. WrestleMania season. Must be WrestleMania season because I'm seeing some names in here that I usually don't see in the live stream. So thank you guys for tuning in live. I do appreciate it. Ken Terminated by Google with a $5 super chat says, I don't know if you ranted about the 24/7 title, but the title is a waste of friggin' time. Would you like the title to change its moniker to the TV title? No, I say get rid of it. Come up with something else. Trios title or something that WWE hasn't done before. Causing a Rift is here, says it's been a while. Yes, it has. The This Guy Experience with the $2 super chat says, I agree with Mo Camera. What? Somebody agrees with Mo Camera? Taker versus AJ main event? If Undertaker could do more than a choke slam, I'd say maybe, but probably not. I really think it should be Drew and Brock as the main event for WrestleMania, or Edge versus Orton, depending on what Edge can do at this stage of the game. But if let me just say this. If Drew is winning the title, I think him and Lesnar should go on last. That's my take on it. Now, speaking of Edge, we had MVP in the ring for a promo. He mocked Washington, D.C. for not even being a state. He talked about how he's transitioning from being a wrestler to an absolute brainiac, and he's going to build this big stable. And he said he wants a stable with a guy like Edge being part of it. MVP talked about how he can make Edge a champion. He could do all these things for Edge, but Edge just needs to get focused. Edge then showed up to the arena 2 hours late, by the way. Edge got in the ring. MVP kept talking. Edge did not care about MVP. He wanted Randy Orton. He got on the mic and said he wants Randy to grow a set and come out there to confront him. MVP kept talking, and then MVP made the mistake. He brought up Beth and said, how is your wife? You don't do that. You don't show concern for a man's wife, because Edge took it personally and he gave MVP a brutal spear. Randy Orton then appeared. A wild Randy Orton appears. He tried to give Edge the RKO, but Edge countered with his own RKO to Randy Orton. And then Edge went for a chair. He was going to try to do the concerto, but Randy Orton managed to escape. Edge then took his aggression out on MVP. He gave MVP an RKO on the steel chair and then gave him a concerto. Crowd chanted one more time, so Edge did in fact give MVP a second concerto as Randy Orton looked on in sheer disbelief. Tony H with the $2 super chat says, Randy Orton always in his ring attire is annoying. He's always prepared. Randy is always ready for a fight. But I could see what you're saying. Like, sometimes it would be good if a guy comes out in street clothes just to make it feel like it's a little bit less choreographed and more spur of the moment type of scenario. So yeah, I do understand the frustration with that. The This Guy Experience with a $2 super chat, thank you for that, says, MVP is a GOAT and wish he could have been WWE champion. I think one of the things that really kept that from happening, if it was really a possibility, and who knows if it was or not. I mean, MVP was good, but I don't know if he was world champion good. But MVP did get into the business pretty late in life, and maybe if he got into the business at 20, he would have had a shot at being world champion in WWE. But You know, some things just are not meant to be. We had a Paul Heyman video package, Paul Heyman doing the narration, talking about all of the people that Brock Lesnar has victimized. Hulk Hogan, John Cena, The Undertaker, the list goes on. Drew McIntyre responded in the video package and said, yes, it's all true. However, Brock Lesnar has now met his match, and at WrestleMania, Drew is going to be the new reigning and defending WWE champion. Good segment here. Good little video package. I liked it. Fine. Backstage, we had Randy Orton looking for Edge, but apparently Edge was looking for Randy Orton, but Orton had already left the arena. Then we had what I thought was going to be the main event, but it started shortly after 10 o'clock, and I'm thinking, okay, I guess they're going to turn this into a tag team match. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Believe it or not. We had Buddy Murphy come in for a DQ. AOP came out. Viking Raiders and the Street Profits made the save. And then Montez Ford got on the mic and he wanted a tag team match. Holla, 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 players. I wonder how many people just turned off their TV at this point. Like, as soon as you know they're turning this into a tag team match, you're like, why bother? Like, we already saw Edge, and that was weird too. Why not close the show with Edge to keep people tuned in? It's like you have Edge's segment, then you do this, you turn it into a tag match, which we've seen these 8-man tag matches several times, and I'm like, you're just asking for people to turn off the TV and just go to bed or wait for No DQ Live to start. The Game is on 100 with a $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that. He says, no DQ. Raise your hand up if you thought Black and Rollins would end in a DQ to set up a tag team match due to the time on the show. There you go. Thank you for that. So we had this 8-man match, which was the Street Profits and Vikings against Seth Rollins and his disciples. Alistair Black was done for the evening. Montez Ford did his big dive onto everybody, but then got back in the ring, and it was a little too obvious he was setting up for the curb stomp, like he's just like crawling. The crawling did not look convincing. So as much praise as Montez Ford gets, like, he made it really obvious that the curb stomp was coming. Just the way he was crawling and positioning himself for it. Rollins hit the curb stomp, of course. Scored the 1-2-3. And then after the match, Kevin Owens attacked Rollins, pulled him outside the ring, got in the ring, attacked the disciples, hit the stunner to Murphy, who sold it in a great way. Like, he did this total backwards flip. This was a brilliant sell job by Murphy, and if there was a reason to watch this final segment, it's for the Murphy selling of the stunner, in my opinion. But then Rollins came in and gave the curb stomp to Owens, and then gave him 2 more curb stomps on top of that to end Raw. Good ending. I just wasn't a fan of the 8-man match. You know, I would have rather they gave more time to Rollins and Black, but then again, my old motto is if you're going to do a DQ, do a quick match. So I guess that's contradicting myself. So I don't know. Maybe not do the match then and save it for a pay-per-view or something. I don't know. So that was Raw, everybody. What did you guys think of the show? I enjoyed it. I thought that this was arguably the best Raw of the year so far. You know, they did a very solid job building up WrestleMania. The key segments were really good. Edge's return, AJ's promo on Undertaker, and the Rollins and Owens stuff was pretty good, advancing that storyline for WrestleMania. So Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. There was some good stuff. Becky's promo. There was a lot of good stuff on this show, in my opinion. I'm going to give it a B+, which is pretty high for Raw. Not a perfect show, but pretty good. Tony H with a B-, J-Spin 401 with a B-, Caesar with a B-, P-Dub with a B-, Christopher Mace with a B+, Darren G with a B-, Calvin Bowman with a B+, Midnight Black Reacts with a B-, Colin Andrew with a solid B, People's Wrestling Channel with a B, and C.L. Spencer with a C+. So looks like maybe I liked it a little bit more than you guys, but I did think that WWE did a solid job building up the key WrestleMania matches on this show. Mike B with a $5 super chat says, speaking of the curb stomp, that's what all the no DQ haters get because Aaron and no DQ is the GOAT. B-, says Mike B. I really do appreciate that, Mike B. Thank you very much for that. That's all I got for tonight, everybody. Thank you all, as always, for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please click on the subscribe button. Turn on your notifications for updates. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest, and I will see you guys Wednesday night for AEW Dynamite. Stay tuned. Take care, everyone.